Hello, we want to welcome you to the Sunnyside Community Voice show coming out of Sunnyside, Texas. Today we have a lighthearted show, and this is Black History Month. And today what we chose to do is to bring forth one of our own. We're going to talk today about the man, the mission, and a bicycle. And we have with us as our guest today, we have Sister Mary Roberts, which is someone that we've seen before. She's been with us before, and you will see her a lot on our show. We have Mr. Ronald Thibodeau, and we have our own Pastor James E. Nash. Now, you might ask why I say the man, the mission, and a bicycle. We have Mr. Thibodeau with us here today, who on his bicycle, God gave him a vision, and he stepped out on that vision, and he rode his bicycle all the way to Washington, D.C. That's 1,400 miles he rode on his bicycle. And we thought that was something that the audience should know. We were talking on the way up here that if God gives you a vision, He's going to always give you, if He gives it to you, mind you, if God gives you the vision, He will always provide for you to meet that. He will give you what you need to do the task that you set forward. So we're going to just get in. We're going to let Mr. Thibodeau tell you something about himself, and then it's just going to be a spirited conversation. We're just going to kind of talk about how he managed to get from Houston, Texas, mind y'all, listen to me, Houston, Texas to Washington, D.C., on a bicycle. We want to welcome you, Mr. Thibodeau. We want to let our audience know who you are.
Right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'd like to thank you and the pastor for the opportunity to tell this story about what happened. And I thank you very much for that. My name is Ronald Thibodeau. I'm a part of the Sunnyside community as well. Worthing graduate, Texas Southern University student. 4 times newspaper, 50 years of my life, KCOH producer for 30 years of my life. You can hear me every Saturday morning on KCOH radio from 9:30 to 12 p.m.
Okay.
And that's part of my history. God put this on my heart, and as you so well stated, that He'll make a way through. And as I say this is exactly what happened, because I trusted that and made it from one city to another point, and after 22 days found ourselves in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Traveled the interstate highways through 6 states, many cities, including Birmingham, Alabama, where the Civil Rights Museum is, Tennessee, Virginia, a lot of civil rights history up there. A lot of people told me I was just about on the same path of the Underground Railroad.
Is that right?
Through Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. There was a lot of history in those areas, a lot of rich experiences in those areas. And through God's own immaculate well-doing, I was able to get through those areas with peacefulness, with health, and learned a lot, talked to a lot of people, and shared a lot of that experience.
I'm going to pause this for a minute, and I know now if it was me you was asking this question, I probably would tell you don't ask that question, but I've got to ask it. How old are you, Mr. Thibodeau?
I'm 62 years old.
I'll be done.
I'm not afraid of it. I thank God for every day.
Well, I mean, you never ask a woman her age.
I know.
You never ask a woman her age, and I just want.
She's not gonna tell you anyway. So.
But I wanted to, because that's wouldn't you think, Ms. Roberts, that is something. I mean, this is a 62-year-old man that has taken a bicycle and rode a bicycle to Washington, D.C. And this is Black History Month. This is something that we should talk about. We should let him know that this is a great feast. Do you have any questions for him?
Okay, Mr. Thibodeau, when you said God gave you that vision. When He gave it to you, how did you feel, and what method did He tell you to go about achieving your goal?
That was very important because it was methodical and systematic. Because over that period of time, we had to wage a diet, we had to wage rest. The whole thing had to be figured and thought. It had to be a plan to doing that, because we didn't just get out there and bicycle and say, well, we're just going to go to Washington, D.C. We bicycled average 10 to 12 hours a day. We ate during the mornings and the evenings. We stayed hydrated. I mean, it's keeping water on us. Epsom salt bath soaks. We took care of our bodies, our temples, to the point where after 22 days, we were in Washington, D.C. and healthy at the same time. And there was a plan to the message. At first, it was just like Bill Cosby used to tell that joke about Moses, saying that you want me to build an ark, but I don't see no water. Well, mine was go to D.C., no bicycle. Well, long story short, all of that came about. It happened, and I thank for being chosen to do such a feat because it's awesome.
Pastor, you
But
have
Thibodeau,
something?
let me say this. Now, I have a hard time driving that distance without stopping a lot.
Right.
You know, especially after you eat a good heavy meal. What kind of diet had you restricted yourself to? I can't see you eating heavy meals every stop riding that far. And another thing, I'll just be honest with you, I ain't riding that far on no bicycle.
You don't know how many times I hear that in a day's time as people share that. There was a regimen to that. The mornings were like, say for instance, during the mornings, waffles, orange juice, the liquids, apples, oranges, the things that we know keeps our body healthy. Stay hydrated through the day. No heavy meals, of course not. Nothing heavy, all the way through noon. Say like 5 or 6 o'clock by the time we settled down for the evening and got off the road. Maybe fruits, vegetables, not maybe, that's what we did. To a regimen every day we did that, took exact care of ourselves with that type of diet. We didn't go out of, in of, nothing else besides that. And that was very important because without our temples, our bodies in control, we couldn't have done it.
Okay, I want to go back to your vision there for a minute. When you felt that tug in your heart that God had given you, and how did you feel? How did you receive it? What did you feel? Was it something that you could conquer, or it was something that you were able to do? How did you embrace it?
To be honest with you about it, and this is an occasion for that, because to be honest about it, it came to me in the middle of the night,
Okay.
3, 4 o'clock, like a lot of artists tell you, when everything's out of the way and it gets through to you, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, that's when it came
That's
to
when
me.
he speaks,
I
okay.
woke up with that, and I said, my goodness, look at this. Okay, now I questioned, challenged, but I gave myself over because I felt that I wasn't afraid. I just no fear. I just gave myself over, and I thank God for the opportunity to do something of this nature which no man had ever done before.
Okay.
And in preparation for this, because you told me that you had to sit down, and you told us that you had to sit down and you had to plan. But in preparation for this, how long did you? What time span of preparation did you take before you ventured? Before you took this? Before you took the trip?
3 to 4 months the first time. I've basically testified my life has been a marathon in itself. I have an active lifestyle. I have a business, and I deliver, and I'm very active, delivering weights and all of that, and movement. So that by the time this came about, I just had to reapply some things to keep up with the regimen that I was going to get into. 3 or 4 months before the time, I started focusing on the cycling itself, the map, the chart, the area, breaking it down to the most minute factor because of the nature of it. There was little room for error, if any, especially in my body. So I wasn't out there trying to kill myself. I was out there trying to survive.
Now, when you're on the road, I mean, just in normal day circumstances, being on the road, we worry about things that's going to happen around us. You know, we have to be ever vigilant of watching, what's going on around us. And I know that you had to go through areas that may not be as receptive as maybe you leaving Houston. When you left Houston, you were sent off probably with a big hurrah.
Right.
Everybody was really excited about it. But you weren't going to be in Houston all the time. You were going to be in other cities and other states. So did you run into any problems during that time?
Yes. For instance, I'll start with Louisiana. In Louisiana, we were met with open arms. Fox News picked us up. MSNBC picked us up. Major News picked us up. By the time we got to Louisiana, they were aware of us. Even the highway patrols, the authorities, the officials, they all were very positive in nature. As we got further into the South, Alabama, Mississippi, the challenges were there. The challenges, the warnings were there. People would come to us, be careful, mister. Removed the Obama cap. I wore Obama cap until I got to Mississippi and took it off because I was told I might be shot off. Wood, the minister, right here is a witness. So I credit him with saving my life on a couple of occasions. If it wasn't, I feel that if it wasn't for Pastor Nash, I may not be alive on a couple of occasions. I take that to the grave.
Because I would have to say that you would I would believe that you would run into challenges.
Yes.
I mean, you know, we talked about in the sitting room the elements. You would run into the elements. There is a lot to this. Like you say, it's just not getting on a bicycle and saying I'm going to take off riding to Washington D.C. And I understand that you had some sponsorship when you went when you made it to Washington. How much sponsorship did you get for this?
Yes, we got around $3,000 to $5,000. A lot of sign-offs on it. About the pastor here was one of the main people who helped us get this straight. Pastor Nash, Reverend Ray Martin, Minister James, Reverend Lawson, and Akua Fayette, and Esther King.
So
People
you
like
had
that
some
believed
people.
in the dream the first time.
Now you've made it to Washington. I understand you brought some mementos back
Yes.
with you from Washington. You want to tell our audience
We-
about some of the stuff you brought back?
Yes. We made it into Washington 30 minutes before the close of the day of business to show you how ordained it's 30 minutes. This thing is so heavy. 30 minutes, because if it wasn't for that, within that 30 minutes of a Friday evening, the next business day would have been that Monday or Tuesday. That was not an option. We got that 30 minutes. Congressman Al Green rolled out the red carpet. It was beautiful. It was awesome. It was a lovely occasion. This picture here is a picture of Congressman Green's White House staff. He was with the president at that time because they were meeting on the budget. He had waited as long as he could for my arrival, but we didn't know exactly what time either. So this was a picture that we received of notability from his congressional office. We're entered into the congressional record for life. This is a statement and document which is on display in the Capitol of the White House, congressional record. And we were presented with the flag that flew over the White House. And it's down for congressional record, and we have the flag for life and a legacy.
Now I understand that you've made it once, and the vision is here again, and you're getting ready to attempt to do this again, because the attempt has already been done. It's already passed. You've done it already. The reason for us bringing you forward for this show, other than this is Black History Month, and we wanted to recognize what you had done,
Yes,
because it
thank you.
is a great feat that you had done. We wanted to let some of our listeners know that if they would like to support you in this, we want to get even more support, for you for this next trip coming up. And I think you told us that it would be in April,
Yes.
Possibly May.
Yeah.
But you're looking for support, and we say to our audience out there, if you would like to support him in this venture, you can call 713-731-7050, and we will have information for you. We don't want to send you off on a whole bunch of places to do it, but we would have you call us, and we can get you in touch with Mr. Thibodeau. So when he gets ready for this trip, he can have the sponsorship. We're going to do what we can, to help him on this. He wants to do this again, and that's why I say it's a man. It's he has a mission, and he's taking his bicycle to do it. I can't ride around the corner on a bicycle, and he's riding 1,400 miles on a bicycle, and that's a feat. And at his age, that means that God is with him. And God is with him, and we are praying that God will be with him on his next trip. As he go. Also, Mr. Thibodeau, there's something else that you do that we really that I eat too many of. Mr. Thibodeau is also the baker of Thibodeau's old-fashioned tea cakes.
Yeah, you see some.
And Jay's, and we eat Mr. Thibodeau's old-fashioned tea cakes. He also does the tea cakes too. So we're just excited to have you here today. Pastor, you have some questions for Mr. Thibodeau.
What I would like to do really is very extraordinary happening and accomplishment. I would say to our viewers, here's a man, 62 years old, made a trip on a bicycle all the way to Washington. Now, we brought him on the show to talk about some of the accomplishments, some of the things that happened. And this is Black History Month. And I know going through the Deep South, there were some things that happened to you that kind of frightened you. What I would say to our viewers, this man is looking for sponsors. People to help him. It's very expensive. He made a trip like that, not much money. But I also would like to say to anyone that lives between Houston, anybody in the South that know any church, any pastor that could receive Mr. Thibodeau once he get into the town. There's a number on our screen that you can call, 713-731-7050. Many times there are pastors in certain towns that maybe they will receive you and kind of help you with some finance, maybe put you up sometimes, or even offer some security for you. So these things are important to me. But this is very enlightening to me. African American month, so to speak. Okay, Black History, and here's a black man that made a trip. It's really unheard of that we would take the opportunity ourselves to do something like that. Now I know there are other races that regularly go on long bike trips, but here we have a man right here on this set today that made that trip very phenomenal. And I'm looking for people to call and to help Mr. Thibodeau as he get ready to prepare for this journey. Finance, whatever, encouraging words, but I think you need finance because he got to eat, he got to drink water, he need a place to stay. So I'm petitioning to the viewers for you, get any kind of help you can out there. There's a lot of people out there that they would understand the importance of this to you and to us, that a person would take a bicycle and ride that far. I too am amazed that you would even take that challenge. It had to be a great challenge to you. You had to be pretty well fit to do that. It's obvious that I wouldn't start off with a bicycle and pick it up and just start riding. Has to be some training, preparation made for that. And that's why it's so important to me that the viewers will take a look at this today and look how important it is, a man that would seek to do something like that on his own, not getting paid to do that, as a passion. And I really got to say this because we kind of talked about this. There's no way that you could have did that without God.
Oh, Lord.
Without the strength of God, with him imputing his spirit within you, first of all, that will cause you to even want to tackle a job like that. Did you ever have any reservations about that? You sit down sometime and think about how many miles and all the things that you might encounter, and then you want to change your mind of doing that. Did you ever do that? Never. That's what's so magnificent.
It is. That really.
You know, sometimes I
I'm
look
sitting
at
here
just driving down here as being a challenge. You know, it's according to how you feel some days. I know you had to have some bad days. You ever feel bad some days? You just say, man, I'm not going to ride this bicycle today.
No, sir. Every day I had to get there. Once I left Houston, I wasn't going to come back until I got into D.C.
So God gave you extra energy.
Yes,
The
sir.
strength to do
Did
it.
you ever pray for energy?
No, sir.
You
To be
never prayed
honest
for
with you
energy?
about us, I was full.
Uh,
Yes, sir. He carried me all the way.
well, God, I feel you didn't know the words to do to pray for energy. He just gave it to you anyway.
Let me tell you, he protects us, and when we don't,
Yes, he does that.
when we don't know. Now, you may not have prayed, but guess what? Somebody here in Houston.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You
I am
didn't
really
mean that,
sorry.
did you?
Wait a minute.
You didn't mean that, did you?
Ooh, I got caught up. To be honest, y'all. This is live TV. No, I did not like that. No, it'd be a misconception. I prayed constantly.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
prayed constantly. When I say constantly, just like we're sitting here right now,
Yeah.
I'm our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Yeah.
Hallowed be thy name. I was constant. That
Now,
was
you know,
constant.
I made a plea to the audience, to the viewers. If you look at this screen, what would you say to the audience as far as getting some sort of support? What would you tell the viewers today? If you really wanted to just ask them for help, what would you say to the audience today, the viewers?
I would say to the viewers and everyone who can see our faces right now that I am truly blessed in doing this. I thank God for it, and I'm asking for your sponsorship and support in any way, form, or fashion to continue to be able to accomplish such a feat, F-E-A-T, that shows that we can overcome, that we can do. You can start out with a mustard seed of faith and accomplish something of this nature. And let everyone know that you too can do the same or anything, paying attention with that mustard seed of faith. That's what I would like to tell everyone. And to ask for their prayers and sponsorship in any way, form, or fashion.
It's amazing when he asked that question, and you said, "No, I just stepped out." I looked at her face. I think we both was thinking the same thing. He don't really mean. He didn't mean that. He didn't mean that. He had to.
Yeah,
He misunderstood.
and whenever
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you got caught up in the moment there. I do know that. That in my heart, I know wasn't the truth. Miss Roberts.
And then the awesome thing about when God tugs at your heart, He always called the people that He feels that's already equipped to do some things. And all you have to do is be willing to go, not understanding fully what He's saying and how He's saying it, but just be willing to do what He says, because He will never ask you to do anything that He knows already that you have all you need to do it. And for people out there that seen this man as an example at his age, don't allow your age to intimidate you.
That's it.
Don't
That's a good point.
allow
That's a good
dreams
point.
and visions
Yeah.
that God put in your heart to allow you to sit back and not make
Yeah.
a difference. Because if He told you to do something, whatever that is, He already inside of you has put that ability for you to do
Yeah.
it. So this is Black History Month. You have made history, and there are a lot of us that make history in the twilight of our lives. Our age should not be a determining factor in what we do, where we go, and what we say.
Yeah.
Because when God asks you to do something, He knows that you're well able to do it because of Him and because of His power.
Told Abraham to get up and go, didn't he?
Very much so.
Told Abraham to
She
get up and
said
go.
something, listen, very profound. When the Lord God told Abraham, get up, leave your house, leave everything, just
And
take
go.
off, Abraham never questioned God. And that's why I was asking him, did you ever question God? Did you really mean for me to do this? And you just said, well, this is a task I gladly accept.
No, in the beginning, I questioned.
Did you?
I questioned. In the beginning, just like there's a joke that's very popular about Bill Cosby and the ark. I said, Lord, you want me to do what? And I said, well, He knows all of that. He knows how old I am. He knows the information about me. And so with that being said, I said, okay.
And He don't mind you questioning Him. You know?
Pastor tells us that all the time.
don't- you
that
don't
it's
mind
okay.
him question.
It's okay to do
question
that.
him not
Yes.
with the challenge of thinking that you have
Yes.
the authority
Yes.
over him.
Right.
But there's some
Just-
things that we
Are you
meet
sure?
in our life that we definitely say, God, you sure you want me to do this here? You
I
want
didn't
to make
even
sure you got to learn to distinguish between the voice of God and the voice of the devil.
I
Because
didn't
you know,
have a
even Mary
bicycle at
questioned
first.
Him when He told her that she was
Yeah.
going to bring forth the Christ
yeah.
child.
Oh, yeah.
How can this be?
Yes.
You know? So He don't mind questions. But He got an answer for every question that you ask.
All right now.
So did you?
All right,
what did you think about the weather? Going that far on a bicycle, did you ever worry about the weather conditions?
I didn't. We watched the Weather Channel. One thing we did all the time. Once the tornado hit us, the tornado was a wake call, a wake up call. When we left Houston, no. It was a fast learning curve all the way because, like I said, I didn't have a bicycle a year before this. I had never bicycled 20 miles before then. So with all that being in there, over the past year and a half, I've learned a great deal. Watching the Weather Channel, we weren't able to avoid the hurricane, the tornado in Jackson, but once that point passed, we learned how to do that. Because it was that way, because the weather was dangerous many times. The winds, we were vulnerable to all of that with two bodies on a bicycle in the wilderness.
And I think you told me that there was one area that you had to get someone to help you with because of the terrain, because of the way
Yes.
you had to be. It was
The
impassable by the
Appalachian Mountain
it was
Range.
impassable by
Smoky
by the-
Mountain Range. You see, they call it has a history of being able to see. When you look across the the terrain, the moon seems to be like you're standing right next to it. The elevation is that high. It has a 39-degree angle to it. There are truckers who even challenged me after that, who told me, Mr. Thibodeau, how did you do? Truckers don't even like to go to this route. But that's the route we went through, and that's before I got here, when we were thinking about it, to me it was just like the mountain that was there. And we had gotten to that point 1,000 miles into this mission, and here's this mountain, and it's like, do you go back? No. And then God sends an angel. So there's an 18-wheel truck driver who comes along, we meet, and through conversation, he says, well, if you're going that way, I can get you this far over the Appalachian Mountain Range. And they let us out 148 miles out of Washington, D.C. That was an awesome thing because it shared me. I can't call it right now, but y'all can help me with this. The parable where the mountain was standing, and I couldn't move the mountain, but God moved the mountain for me because He got me somebody to go over it. That's an awesome thing because that mountain range is awesome, but we wasn't coming back to Houston.
That's right.
We was going to Washington, D.C.
Mr. Thibodeau, you've done this before, and you were successful, and you got all the accolades, and now you're doing it again. What is your purpose? Is the mission still the same, or is there something else that you're trying to accomplish in this? Because I consider you a man on a mission taking a ride of his life again.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is your expectation this time versus the other time?
One thing I feel like it would be easier this time because I'm well aware of it. The way God's so done this thing, last time it came to the most difficult, of all things, we came to the most difficult route. Even truck drivers were challenged by it. This time we're going the southern route.
Okay.
A lot easier. The distance, I don't think nothing of the distance. I just think about completing it, getting to the White House and coming back home.
But you know, I really think, let me say, I'm going to finish my little part. But I really think that once I did it, the first thing I would look for would be an easier route.
Yes, I did. And we have, and God bless with that too.
Yeah.
An easier route. And to do it for the legacy of it, because I've realized that God has given us an opportunity for a legacy. And how many times do we have that opportunity? I think very rare. And so with that being said, it's something I have to do until it's no more.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you, Mr. Thibodeau, for being here with us today. We found out that the man, his mission, and his bicycle, it can work. You did what you set out to do. You stepped out on faith, and God helped you complete your test. And we wish you blessings on your next trip. And again, what we would say to our viewers is that if you would like to know how to support Mr. Thibodeau, just call us at 713-731-7050, and we will get you in touch with Mr. Thibodeau, where you can help him on this next mission that he's going to have. And we wish him great success in this next mission. You completed what you set out to do, and God was with you.